Aleph Gimel. There we go. Now, thank you, sir, for catching. Okay. We're beginning. Shalom Aleichem in the Siddur is on page number 5. Shalom Aleichem is on page number 5. Page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Ashoret, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon, mi-melech, malachei hamlochim, ha-kodosh, baruch hu. Baruch hu ani l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei Yon mi melech malachei hamlochim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon mi melech malachei hamlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem is a song. It's not originally a prayer. It's a song. It's not from the Bible. In a moment, we'll turn to page number 11. We'll begin with the Lachun Ranana, which comes from the Bible. Shalom Aleichem is a song. And it was originally composed with the intention of being a song in the home, and people liked it so much that it migrated into the synagogue in some communities, not all. What does it say to us that we take hold of a home song, originally intended to be around the table, in the seated area of individuals as a family, with the theme being peace to the outer world? What does it say that we've taken hold of that and we brought it into the synagogue? It's saying that the mind of the Siddur, the mind of the collective synagogues all over the world is open, indeed yearning, to have that sense of home and peace. So when people walk into the synagogue, they're at home. And then when they leave the synagogue, they take that sense of being at home with them out into the world. That's the Shalom Aleichem. And now here we are on page 11, Lachun Ranana. Lechun ranena l'Adonai, nari alitzur yishenu, nikan mafana b'torah, bizmiro nari alo, nikan mafana b'torah, bizmiro nari alo, kiel gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher biyado mechkerei aretz v'toafot harim lo asher biyado mechkerei aretz v'toafot harim lo. On page 11, that last stanza on the English side. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. And stop there. Changing how we are seated. Changing how we open our eyes. How we close our eyes. How we attune our ears. All that is so that you and I gain a new and different perspective of the one who who formed us. Harbeim shnakut v'dor v'mam tor levavhem v'hem lo yidu drachai asher nishbati v'api im yavon el menuchati. And as you look at page 12, the conclusion, on the English side, you notice Psalm 95, and you turn to page 13 to page 14, you see Psalm 96. Essentially, we're studying passages from the Bible. That's the early part, which takes us to the Baruch Hu and the Shema. Tonight, something a little bit different. We have a number of song sheets. The first one begins with the phrase Yehi, Y-E-H-I, Yehi Shalom. The words are Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. That's the hard word. Be'armenotayich. Say it 3 times slowly. Be'armenotayich. You've got it. And it means, may there be peace in your walls and tranquility within your palaces. This is a phrase from the book of Psalms talking to Jerusalem herself. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. And I imagine you can discern why I'm bringing this phrase into the service this evening. We are witnessing loss and sorrow and pain. And always uppermost in our prayers is peace and also safety. This is a melody, and you'll hear this group has occasionally been part of us within the recordings that we've accumulated. And this is a group, the name of the group is Nativ, and it's a group of, at the time, some years ago, high school seniors who were doing a gap year in Israel. And they formed a choir. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich.
Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'Chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai. Yai nai 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 nai.
And now turning back in the Cedar, page 21, Page 21. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod v'oz, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, hishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim, el kavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shaver arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arsei halvanon. Vayarkinem kmo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion, kmo v'nreimim. Kol Adonai chotzei v'avot eish, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadosh, Kol Adonai Yechol El Ayolot, Vayechesof Ye'arot, Uvechalo Kulo Amer Kavod, Adonai Lamabul Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Le'olam, Adonai Oz Li'amo Yitein, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom. As I mentioned earlier, the opening of the Friday evening service is essentially sung study. We have the Shom Alechem, which is a song. We discussed it already. We have Mizmorim, Psalms from the Bible, and they're designed to be sung, but we're supposed to learn from our Tanakh. And tonight, I'm rearranging and inserting different pieces, and that's why we have the song sheets. So if you look at one song sheet, it's entitled Nachamu. Nachamu. This is a phrase that comes from the book of Isaiah. And since we're teaching a little bit of Tanakh, remembering that the Tanakh is comprised of three main sections. The Torah is the first section, Nevi'im, prophets, Isaiah is in the prophets, and the Chtuvim. Don't do that too close to somebody because who knows what might happen. Chtuvim, right? Chtuvim is the book of writings, and the Psalms are in the Chtuvim. And much of the Friday night service is traditionally Chtuvim, the Psalms, but I'm inserting Isaiah for a reason. So let's learn a bit of this phrase. It's one verse from the book of Isaiah, and then we'll be joining along and singing along with Pizmon. Nachamu, Nachamu, literally means comfort, comfort. Dabru alev Yerushalem v'kiru eleha. Speak tenderly to the heart of Jerusalem and call out to her, but use your ears, because the word that's typically presented for Jerusalem is what in Hebrew? Yerushalayim. But that's not how it's presented in this part of the book of Isaiah. Because the poetry within this specific context of Isaiah is reflecting sorrow and loss. In the ancient days, on a number of occasions, as we know from our history, there were attacks against Yerushalayim and Yisrael. And at one point, Isaiah writes this passage, and some people assert that maybe he was doing something a little on the subtle side and saying, with the hostilities and the attacks, Jerusalem is incomplete. And so he wrote the word Yud, Resh, Vav, Shin, Lamed, Mem, leaving out the last Yud. And so the grammar would call for it to be pronounced Yerushalem, not Yerushalayim, indicating that something is awry with the city itself. So when you hear Yerushalem, your ears are not playing tricks. It's part of the intention. There's an incompleteness right now because of all that you and I are witnessing and experiencing. Dabra Alev Yerushalayim, speak from your heart tenderly to Jerusalem, which is incomplete and sorrowful and broken. Ki malat tzva'a, ki nirtza avona, ki lacham yad Hashem, ki fayim b'chol chatoteha. You're not being quizzed on this. You'll be singing along, but now I've pronounced it, so you have the translation before you. Nachmu nachmu ami yomar elokechem kol korei bamidbar panu derech Hashem. That's the part that I get. Kol korei bamidbar panu derech Hashem. A voice is calling out. God is saying, there's going to be so much improvement someday that we need to have wide open spaces. We need parking lots and new roads. We need stadiums. We need concessionaires. Guess what? It's all going to be much better. And someday there'll be healing and there'll be growth. That's what Isaiah is trying to say in his phrasing. Nachamu. And so we have Nachamu, and this comes to us from Pizmon, a group that we've had on a number of occasions in the past. Nachamu.
Dabru alev Yerushalem, ve'kiru eleha, ki malat tzva'a, ki netzavona, ki lacha miyad Hashem, ki flaim bechol chatoteha. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Dabru alei Yerushalem, ve'kiru eleha, ki malat tzva'a, ki netzavona, ki lacha miyad Hashem, ki flaim bechol chatoteha. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Kol koreh bamidbar, panu derech Hashem, yashu barabar, mesila Elokeinu, nachamu, nachamu ami. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, yomar Elokechem.
And now I need to add one more comment about the word Nachamu. Because Nachamu is a word that the speaker is saying to a group of people. And in effect, the speaker is calling out to Isaiah, to his own contemporaries, Each one of you has to talk to Jerusalem. Each one of you has to get up and go and offer comfort to the entire community. And when he says Nachamu a second time, he's reiterating it, which means that each and every one of us has to in some way step forward and bring support and comfort to fellow Jews. And at this time, that's urgent, that you and I must summon something from within and reach out to someone else and say, we will get through this, we will grow, we will someday have strength and peace and security and balance, and we have to work together. L'Charudi on page 23, the first two stanzas, page 25, the last two stanzas. Lecha doji likrot kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha doji likrot kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad l'shem otif eret velit hila lecha dodi likrot kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela likrot Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrot kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela yamin usmol tifrotzi v'yet Adonai Taritzi al Yarish ben Partzi v'nismecha v'nagila lecha dodi likrot kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela Boi v'shalom ateret balach Gam b'simcha u'v'tzahala tochemunei am segula Boi chala lecha dodi likrot kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. We are seated. On page 28, on the English side, the last three stanzas, please, on page 28. This is the Psalm for Shabbat. We're taking something out of context. I want us to focus on the last three stanzas, which is the doorway into the Borchu. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock, in him there is no flaw. Moving towards the Borchu, this psalm is reminding us, urging us on, encouraging us that we are part of something much grander in the universe. And there's a steadiness, there's an enduring permanence to which we are a part. And we've nicknamed that Adonai. We rise the Borchu on page 39b. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Hamavorach Le'olam Voed. We are seated. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space. You completed your work of creation on the seventh day, calling this day from one evening to the next the holy Shabbat, and gave this day of rest in all its holiness to your people Israel, creator of day and night, ruling light before darkness and darkness from light, making day pass and bringing on the evening, distinguishing day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Nimloch Aleinu L'Olam Voed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Haravim. On page 40, on the English side, the last two lines at the bottom of that first paragraph. Do not ever withdraw your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, who loves the people Israel. V'avotecha al tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shach b'cha v'kumecha, u'kishar tam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. A few moments of silence on page number 42. Adonai Elohecha lechem emet. On page 44 is the Michamocha. The Michamocha is a song, a prayer of and by diaspora Jews. They've never been to Israel. And you know what? They're never going to go to Israel. And when you put it in that framework, you realize, wait, we may have something in common with the group that left Egypt, went into the wilderness, crossed the sea, came within a bit of a stone's throw, and then didn't enter. And they lived their lives outside of Israel. And they were Jews. We can identify with them. And yet they were able to see something spectacular that was guiding them in their lives as individuals and as a community. Page 44. Mi chamocha po'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lot osei fele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeh yom lifnei Moshe, ze'eli anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam voed, v'ne'emar, ki fadar et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, ga'al Yisrael. And before Hashkivenu, we turn to another song sheet. This is a song by Craig Taubman. At the top of the page, there's a phrase, rhythm and ruach, but we're not singing that. But the song is by Craig Taubman. And it obviously calls to mind many different components of Israel and of Israeli history and Jewish identity connected to Israel and Israeli history.
Jordan River to the Galilee, from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, from the top of Masada to the Western Wall. You can feel it, yes it's real. It's from Theodore Herzl to Ben Gurion, from Golda Meir the magic passes on. If you will it, you will see. If you dream it, it can be. You hold a piece of a dream. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. A desert blooms, a dream comes true. A homeland's built for me and you. If we will it, it can be. If we dream it, we will see. We hold a piece of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true. I'm Yisrael Chai. I'm Yisrael Chai. I'm Yisrael Chai. Oh, Avinu Chai. Chai, Chai, Chai. of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true. We hold a piece of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true. We hold a piece of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true.
Do you know the phrase, Im tirtzu ein zo agada? Famously from Theodore Herzl's writings, if you will it, it is no dream. When Craig Talwin wrote this song, he incorporated that sentiment, which is at the core of the 1880s, 1890s emerging Zionistic movement and energy and momentum. It's a dream, but if you hold on to it and you make it real, it will become real. But by the way, if you read The Jewish State, Theodore Herzl's very famous magnum opus, you might say, he wrote many things, but The Jewish State, you'll see that he had a vision, and the vision was that Jews and Arabs would live side by side. His hope was to build a Jewish state in Palestine, and his hope for emerging Zionism that would be coming forth over a span of many years would develop a method and a plan whereby Jews and Arabs could live side by side, one not in conflict with the other, one not conquering the other, but living in tandem. And when I hear that phrase, we hold a piece of the dream, which of course is translated from his works, Im tirtzu ein zo agada, we're still trying. We're still hoping, and we're still in pain. And maybe someday people will figure out how to not be in conflict and to live almost side by side. And again, this is a message that's directed in terms of his writing to diaspora Jewry. And now look to page 45, Hashkivenu. Now, while it's intended for people of all communities, you might say, all points of origin within the Jewish world, look at the last 5 lines on the English side. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. It's like the ripples that go out in a pond from wherever you and I might be living, beyond our own community, rippling out to Israel and Jerusalem. And now you can say, gosh, if we look at the Michamocha, which is a piece that's talking to diaspora Jews who will never ever set foot in Israel, and then you can take hold of that piece from Theodor Herzl, Im tirtzu ein zo agada, if you will, it's not a dream, which is a message to move forward, to build Israel, and perhaps there's a way. And then you look at the Hashkivenu, which talks about the interconnectedness between diaspora Jews and the entire world Jewish community and Israel as a metaphor for safety and security and peace for all of us. Look what we have in the Siddur. We're part of something much grander. Now we're on page 46, Vishamru.
Shabbat,
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Gilma tifkadei b'chayechon uv'yom echon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala uv'izman kariv v'imero amen Yehi shemei Rabba mevarach Li'olam li'olmei olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitparach v'yinaseh v'yidhadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei dekudesh abrichu Le'ela mekor b'chata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amiran b'alma v'meru amen. We rise to the silent Amida, the traditional text found on pages 47 through 52, or an opportunity for us to devise a personal private prayer at this time. There is so much going on in the world right now vis-a-vis Israel, vis-a-vis us Jews. And I'm struggling to understand it and contend with it, put it in a context. And I'm seeking many different modalities. And it occurred to me, and I went through a file and I pulled out something that I once studied a number of years ago. It's a poem written by one of my favorite Israeli poets. His name is Yehuda Amichai, world famous. Born in 1924 in Germany with a very long German name, moved to what was then called Palestine in 1936, joined a youth movement, and he adopted a Hebrew name. He changed his name. As many Europeans who were contributing to the new effort of building the country did, he wanted to have a Hebrew name, not a foreign name. And so he chose the name Yehuda, which of course is very well known. It means Judah. It's a symbol of strength. And Amichai is actually two Hebrew words put together. You know the word Chai, which means life, and you know Am means nation. Am Yisrael Chai, the nation of Israel lives. We just sang the song. So Amichai means my nation is alive. He named himself. And he went on to become world famous. And this is a poem that he shared with the world on the occasion of Yitzhak Rabin's receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, which was in the early 90s. I don't know if he wrote it then or wrote it earlier, but then he shared it for the first time. So if you would just take one and pass. We're going to read a poem by Yehuda Amichai. He died in the year 2000. And I think we'll read it in English today just for the fun of it. Any volunteers the first half, the upper half? Any volunteers? Okay.
Half the people in the world love the other half. Half the people hate the other half. Must die because of those and the others. Go and wander and endlessly change, like rain in its cycle. And sleep among rocks and be rugged like the trunks of olive trees, and hear the moon bark at me, and camouflage my love with worries, and grow like the timorous grass in between railway tracks, and live in the ground like a mole, and be with roots and not with branches, and not rest my cheek upon the cheek of angels, and make love in the first cave, and marry my wife under the canopy of beams which support the earth, and act out my death, always to the last breath and the last words, without ever understanding, and put flagpoles on top of my house, and as shelter at the bottom, and set forth on the roads made only for returning, and go through all the terrifying stations, cat, stick,
Fire.
sorry, water, butcher, between the kid and the angel of death.
Let's stop there. How do you feel when you enter Amichai's imagination, when you hear these words and see his vision? How do you feel?
It's a little confusing.
Welcome to Amichai.
It's a beautiful soul, and he sees the earth as part of his soul.
Do any parts look very familiar? Any little segments seem familiar?
The kid.
That's the Passover piece. In the stations, it's Chag Gadya, so cat, stick, fire, that's my typo, sorry. Water, butcher, between the kid and the angel of death. So what does that do when you experience it from the Seder on Pesach and then have it here? What's going on?
It's all connected.
It's all connected. What else? So when we hear about the cat and the stick and the fire and the water and the ox and the butcher and so on Passover night when we sing that song Chad Gadya, what's going through our minds? What might be one of the purposes of that song? If you know that song. It's very famous. Life, appreciating life. And so he interweaves that and he takes hold of that that's familiar and he puts it in here. What else calls out to mind before we go into the concluding stanza? Nature.
How there's diversity, half the people hate, half the people love. How does that affect you personally?
Polarities. Are we living in a polarized world at this time?
Yes.
In so many ways, we're living in a polarization. And those polarities are they constructive or something else?
I can touch that. Is it true that half the people love and half the people hate?
So he's a poet. Why do you think he starts off his poem with that?
I just don't think that half the people hate.
Maybe you're more optimistic than Amechai, but why does he start the poem in that manner?
Why they do that? I think the context of this is, it says at least the fluttering of the girl's handkerchief by the hill.
Well, there's levels of all kinds of conflict in our world. Is it right or left? Is it, dark or light? Is it prejudice or love? There's so many different levels of love in life, and every little hate is a death. It goes back and forth.
Mm-hmm. He wrote this in the early 90s. And as I said, he died about 23 years ago. But still, having grown up in Germany and leaving Germany behind in 36 and coming to Palestine and experiencing the turbulence and the challenges and the difficulties and all the work of fighting for, and he was obviously in the military, and then helping to build the state. He's trying to say something when he says, half the people in the world, half the people in the world. I want to point out a theme. It's the last 6 lines of the top stanza. Flagpoles on top of my house and a shelter at the bottom. What does that mean? Flagpoles at the top of my house and a shelter at the bottom. And a shelter, that means a bomb shelter. What does that mean, to have a flagpole on the top of the house and a bomb shelter in the bottom of your house?
Well, yeah, flagpoles, they suggest conflict too.
Well, what's usually on a flagpole?
The flag.
Which is what?
Israel flag.
Right.
Of your allegiance.
Exactly, a symbol of your allegiance and your patriotism.
Because of that, you need the shelter.
You need a shelter at the bottom. And many apartment buildings, and even hotels, if you travel to Israel, know you have bomb shelters in the basement and homes. And in the past 30-ish, 20-ish years, private construction have codes have often called for a safe room in people's homes. And you and I saw the news these past 2 months since October 7th when we saw many kibbutzim near Gaza, where people were being attacked and they were hiding in their safe rooms, a built-in shelter. Imagine having to build a hardened security room in your domicile while you're also putting your flagpole up. The contrasts, are they all opposites? Are they polar opposites, or are there fluidities between? Look at it's reality versus aspiration. Let's read the last stanza. We'd like to read the last stanza, the bottom piece. Any volunteers? Callie?
Okay. Half the people love, half the people hate. And where is my place between these halves that are so well matched? And through the crack shall I see the white houses, housing projects of my dreams, and the barefoot runners on the sands, or at least the fluttering of the girl's handkerchief by the hill.
Where is my place between these halves that are so well matched? Not what is my place, where is my place? He's seeking a location. Where is my place between these halves of love and hate so well matched? Where is my place? Where is your place? Home.
Love breeds love and hate breeds hate.
Is your home a place that's secure enough against these two halves that are so well matched?
I would say yes.
Well, mine is.
Mine.
Hope so. Hope so.
But you know, Rabbi, I mean, I know this is kind of the thing, but the 14th is my son's yard site. And I've been thinking about this over and over. And there's a quote, it's almost like this, and it moves you so much because you think, okay, we're preparing our lives to end. We live our lives hoping that we've done well until it ends. So what is in between? And how do we, because we really don't think about that part. You know, I don't go through my life every day thinking, oh, well, you know, tomorrow could be the day. I've got things to do tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
we just kind of keep going. But, you know, it brings up a lot. And one day I'll share the quote. I was looking at it, comparing it back and forth to this. But it's incredible how we kind of, our mind makes us safer than we may actually be. Does that make sense?
That's self-preservation.
Yeah.
One last question. Look at the girl's handkerchief. What's the purpose of the girl's handkerchief? How would you interpret that, the girl's handkerchief fluttering by the hill? The last phrase. The last phrase, the girl's handkerchief. Half the world hates, half the world loves. What's the purpose of the girl's handkerchief? Which closes out the piece.
A child doesn't understand
Hmm.
that half the world loves and half, so she's been playing barefoot and left her handkerchief.
Hmm.
It's a white handkerchief, she could just be giving up.
Yeah, she could be giving up.
That's surrender.
Or it could be used as a bandage. Or to mop somebody's brow from tears. Yehud Amichai. Even today, among the highlights of modern Israeli writing, and yes, he died in the year 2000, but people still study his work, and he's at the peak, you might say. He came from a religious background, continued on in an awareness of religious tradition, but wasn't, you would say, super religiously observant, but he drew upon the literature and the motifs and the themes of the religious background in his writing, although he was living what some might consider a semi-secular lifestyle. And some people could argue that his writing was really a bridge. So that might be another way of understanding the halves, the two halves that are so well matched. May we grow in understanding. I think that's my new prayer. May we grow in understanding. So.
It's talking in metaphors, and it's very, very interesting in the sense that we're all going through life, buffeted by whatever, and influenced by whatever. And wondering where we're going to wind up, in which half. And love and hate is not absolute. That applies to everything. Some things you love, some things you don't love. So there's all sorts of subtleties involved, and it was very interesting to see how he describes the meandering that we all do through life, and what influences us, and so he sums it up. But it's only say half the people love, half the people hate. Maybe half love, maybe the three-quarter, less than half love, and maybe more than a half hate at any particular time. But it's not a precise demarcation. Life doesn't work that way.
I would hate to feel or think that half the people hate. First of all, I never came across that type of thing. They're actually in the minority, because it's so easy to take that person of people who hate so much.
If you look at our world today, and you look at the broadcasts, and whether there are demonstrations, or rallies, or riots, or experiences on college campuses across the United States, and other rallies across parts of Europe.
But they're in the minority. These college students that go around protesting.
So
It's something wrong.
the purpose of this poem is for you and me to learn something about modern Israeli poetry and a genre of literature that we don't really know, to be introduced to Yehuda Amichai, and to unlock something within each one of us.
So
That's the
is
purpose.
this the beginning of the course?
I'm not sure where the course is going.
I just know what the reading assignments is going to be
I need to figure that one out.
in the essays and
No essays. We finished our schooling, no homework, no tests. One sec.
When I was thinking about half of that hate, half of the love, I was thinking about today, what's going on today.
Mhm.
About the children of Abraham, like children of Isaac and children of Ishmael.
That's very powerful. Did you hear what Anessa said? She's thinking about the children of Abraham are the children of Isaac and Ishmael, two different halves. That's a very interesting presentation. Just go ahead. Do you want to say anything else?
Between that real powerful hate is Hamas.
Exactly.
And in between those things, that's the Palestinians and the Israel.
hmm
And Hamas is making it worse.
Thank you.
You people do not learn from experience.
No. So that's part of the lesson.
Brings up a huge question. What fuels love? What fuels hate at any particular time? You know,
So what does fuel love and what does fuel hate?
there's various tinder on both sides. And, you know, it's just, so that it's there. Once you start going through in sort of the anatomy as to why people feel the way they do, you start, you know, digging further and you apply your Freudian analysis and so forth. And you know, it's interesting to see, you know, what's there, because there's something out there, some things and some ideas that are sort of rattling around someone's head that gives rise to their emotion. It could be there's just it could be just the local attitudes of other people having an influence. And well, if that's the way they believe, well, maybe I should believe the same thing. You know, who knows? You know, so in other words, it could be groupthink.
Groupthink.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's interesting that they're both can be brought on by passion, and I think that's really very interesting.
You know, they say there's a fine
Well,
line between love and hate.
Which compassion would
Same
you
emotion.
really like? You'd like the love compassion would be, I mean, that would solve a lot more than the hate compassion.
Halavai from your mouth. Duncan?
Oh, there's a fine line between love and hate. And what's meant by that is that, in my opinion, you actually have to care in order to hate. And if you're ambivalent, if you don't care one way or the other, there's not going to be any hate involved. You just don't care. So it seems like you have to care in order to hate something.
No, you're either hate or love.
Well,
Either one. I can't go in between.
And why
That's
is
a sort of a
it?
default.
Yeah.
You know, indifference. That's pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And what makes people who have had the benefit of such great privilege attach themselves to something that would literally kill them for speaking for them all over our country? If these women who are all speaking out for Hamas spoke out about Hamas, they would be killed. They don't have a voice. So what makes because is it the privilege we've been blessed with that gives people an idea to attach to something? Or is it because when people lack that privilege, they think harder about the disparity between two things? I don't know.
Or it could be ignorance.
It could be what?
Ignorance.
Yeah, that's allowed. Ignorance is.
could be what?
Ignorance.
But it's very confusing, because when you see Harvard, Cambridge, Princeton, Columbia, you don't see, community college at Faulkner. You're seeing people who have, made the cut, and they have the money, and they were able to go, and this is an issue that is not, born out of lack.
they're more interested in what's going on at Harvard and Yale. Who knows?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
You know, they make the headlines. I don't know. Who knows?
but it's curious.
Amichai would not have said this. Maybe he would have. There's a famous phrase, it's in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy. Choose life.
Choose what?
Life.
Amen.
Choose life.
Choose
It doesn't, life. It doesn't say choose love as opposed to hate, but I think it's safe to say that if we choose the optimism of living life, that we be choosing love. And love doesn't mean rainbows and unicorns and little candy hearts like on Valentine's Day. Love means humanity and respect. That's what we're talking about. And I want to be on that side of the scale. We rise for the Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol atet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanuk goyei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'Yosei Haaretz U'Moshav Yekaro B'Shamayim Mima'al U'Shchinatu Zo B'Gavhei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Ein Od Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulatom Kakatu B'Torato V'yadata Hayom V'Shevota El Vavecha Ki Adonai Hua Elohim B'Shamayim Mimal V'Al Haaretz Mitachat Ein Od Kakatu b'Toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam v'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad Ushema Echad. Please, we all remain standing for the Kaddish. The losses that we've all suffered lately have been so extreme, so significant that, if so able, the entire community remains standing for Kaddish. Within our local community, we remember within our shul community, marking the yortzites of Sam Linick, Milka Stein, Edith Layden, Moshe Stein, Dora Rosenthal, Gwen Dean, Abraham Mazel, William Abrams, Carol Worth, Emma Jett, Morris Mishevsky, Hyman Gilbert Buckman, Mary Mazel Kahn, Zalman Aaron Weber, Chaya Rachel Weber, Remember Seymour Lichtenfeld, Ruth Berger. Are there any other names to mention tonight? And perhaps those at home have a name to share. And the past 2 days, we've had dramatic losses of Israelis. Shai Pizam, 23. Nick Beiser, Ron Sherman, Yitzhak Ben Basad, age 44. Tomer Greenberg, age 35. Roy Meldasi, age 23. Mush Avram Bar-On, age 23. Liel Chayo, age 22. Achia Daskal, age 19. Ben Shelley, age 26. Rom Hecht, age 20. Oria Yaakov, age 19. Eran Aloni, age 19. Eran Aloni, 19, is from Ofakim. I did not put the names of the other locations, but Ofakim stands out. Ofakim is a small working class town, not too far from Beersheba. 52 people were murdered that first day from that one little city. And Eran Aloni, he's 19. You know, he could have been on the high school football soccer team or anything else. All of these people, ages, and they're never going home to their families. Our hearts are broken. Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Amen. Be'olma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chaye echon uv'yom echon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zaman kariv v'miru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mivarach Le'olam Olmei Olmaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitdaleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Da'amiran ba'alma v'miru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'miru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'miru amen. We are seated. And we all said the same thing, that someday there must be peace. There will be shalom. We'll conclude with that other handout. There's a song sheet, and it's entitled Tfilat Haderech, which is the Hebrew term for a prayer for a safe journey. And we're all on a journey tonight, both through life and just leaving the building and going home to that place of sanctuary. From this sanctuary to our own home sanctuaries, may we all be blessed with peace.
May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
And shalom to those joining in at home. We can't wait to see you, at least in the near future. May you be blessed and know that you're part of our community. We love you. May God bless you and watch over you. Shalom.